We just mentioned Chet Holmgren. Gonzaga went out and picked up a nice 14-point win, a nice bounce back win for a team that needed something of a statement. They beat Texas Tech 69-55, despite the fact that Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren really did not do all that much. It was Andrew Nemhard and Rasir Bolton and Gonzaga's perimeter players that basically won that game for them. So Randolph, how are you feeling about Gonzaga at this point in the year? Right, they have a couple losses. But they are still a team that looks like they should be good enough to be able to compete for a Final Four. They're probably just going to roll through the WCC again. Is this where does Gonzaga stand in your mind?
Listen, they're going to roll to the WCC, but I think we've seen them enough to know what they're going to be. They're going to be a tough outcome tournament time. You know, they're going to have enough versatility. The guard play is strong. They have arguably the best two bigs playing together in the country. Those guys didn't play well today. They beat Texas Tech. I mean, I know Texas Tech's without their best player, without Terrence Shannon Jr. today, you know, but they're a good team, and we know what they are. They're a great coach. They're an elite program. Them and Baylor have been there. They're two best programs in the country the last 2 or 3 years. I don't think anything will change with those guys. I expect them to be right there at the Final Four with a shot to win it all again.
Yeah, Goodman, you agree?
Yeah, the sucky part now is, you know, after today, it's like NAU, North Alabama, San Diego, Loyola Marymount, San Francisco, Pepperdine, then BYU at home. And San Francisco's a good team, but they lost tonight. I feel like it's just that tale of two seasons with Gonzaga, and we kind of forget about them, and then that's when people throw darts at them. They're not playing anybody. They're still really damn good. And the one thing that the WCC, it's better than it usually is. It's still not great, but it's better than it usually is. And I think actually Gonzaga has a lot of things, unlike a year ago, that they need to work on. And we may see a different Nolan Hickman, for instance, coming out of the WCC. We're not even watching a lot of those games. And all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, we're going to see him play BYU. And Nolan Hickman's going to be a completely different player. Why? Because he's getting 25, 30 minutes a game where he hasn't gotten that so far.
And will Hunter Silas be another freshman that kind of slides in and be an end of the rotation kind of guy that helps them with a game or two down the stretch? He's a guy I think talented enough that could come on late. Because they're going to play. They're going to blow teams out, and those guys are going to get 15 minutes a game.
Yes. Anton Watson.
You would hope so.
Watson's going to get a lot of time.
Yes. Yeah, but that's not what Mark Few normally does. But what I will say is this. I understand like all the concerns about not playing anybody, and there are, I think, some legitimate reasons to believe that when you play the caliber of competitions, it's a step below you. You can kind of pick up some bad habits. Like you can get away with doing some stuff against Loyola Marymount that ain't going to work when you got to try to do it against Baylor, right? But I'll just say this about the Gonzaga program. They've been in 2 of the last 4 national title games. They've been in 3 of the last 4 Elite Eights, and they have been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the last 6 Sweet 16s. So like they're still advancing in the tournament. They're still having success there. I don't know if any other program can say that they've been to the last 6 Sweet 16. So the runs are still there. I'm more concerned with whether or not this team is going to be able to put it together for 6 straight games on the defensive end of the floor than anything else, right? Like we saw them against Alabama. We saw it a little bit against Duke. Like you can beat them up a little bit. Like that's my biggest concern. Will they be able to play defense at the level you need to be able to play defense to win a national title for 6 games?
But don't you think Chet he's so much better today? Like I saw him against Texas in person and he was lost, and he is so much better today than he was 3 weeks ago. And 3 weeks from now, he's going to be so much better. Like he's just such a game changer defensively. Guys are so scared to go in there against him.
Particularly as a help defender. I mean, his timing coming as a help defender is great. I ask you this, Rob. What league would we put them in that we wouldn't feel like they would win? We talking about the WCC. They'd win the Big East. They'd win, arguably they'd win,
Big Ten,
ACC.
maybe.
I mean, Big Ten for sure. I mean, Pac-12. I mean, maybe because of Duke and the ACC. Like every league in the country, they're right there that we can legitimately make an argument they win every league. So whether they're in the WCC or not, there's not a league out there that we wouldn't favor them to win.